Hey, what's up everyone? So this video is going to be focused about life skilling in Archeage, and what life skilling is pretty much how you make money in this game, and also it's related to how you gear in this game as well, considering you have obsidian gear, so you'll pretty much be crafting your own obsidian gear. But more specifically, it's more focused on money. So in this game, you have what is called labor, and labor is directly related to how much money you'll be making every day. And you want to spend your labor very wisely. So in Archeage, some of your life skills are much better in the early game than they are in the late game because of supply and demand. And that's all based on the player base. But after playing this game a few times through a few iterations, it's kind of easy to get a good grasp on what life skills are good at the early game, the mid game, and the late game. So I want to go ahead and talk about that. But before we dive into that, it is very important that you discuss with your friends, if you're playing with friends, and even if you're a solo player, make sure you know exactly which life skills you want to specialize in, because as you can see here, you have some category limits. So for example, you can only rank up 2 harvesting skills, so in this case it'd be something like fishing or mining, and you'd only be able to have 2 of those. That whole thing is pretty much, you can rank up more if you get specialization snowflakes, but these cost 200 gold in the general merchant. Pretty expensive, pretty big ask, honestly. And this is more of a late game thing if you're a true life skiller and all you like to do is life skill in Archeage. You don't really care about PvP, you honestly don't care about PvE in dungeons. All you're pretty much doing is playing the life skill and crafting part of Archeage, and that's when you start investing in these snowflakes to open up more proficiencies that you can max. But now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and focus on which life skills are good at which part of the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the early game. So for harvesting life skills, in the early game, pretty much the best life skills are hands down mining, logging, and fishing. You can debate a little bit about fishing, but since fishing has the ability to get Dawn Lake Essence, which is a pretty important material for a lot of crafts. Dawn Lake Essence is used in a lot of important things such as blank regrade scroll, which is pretty much the main thing everyone's going to be crafting, and this primarily or only comes from fishing. You pretty much do your basic auto fishing, and then you break down the fish with a blue salt knife, and then it turns into Dawn Lake Essence, and then that's combined with paper to make your regrade scrolls. And that's of course how you make your weapon regrade scrolls, armor regrade scrolls, accessory, etc, etc. All your, pretty much how you enhance in this game. So fishing is a pretty important early game harvesting life skill as well. So I believe that the 3 best for sure are logging, fishing, and mining. And the reason why logging and mining are important is because, of course, after the 48-hour landlock, everyone's going to be trying to get materials to craft their land, and lumber and stone is pretty much essential for crafting any type of blueprint, any boat, any house. It's needed. Now on to the crafting. Now for crafting in the early game, I don't really think any of these are too important in the early game, but you should start dedicating a little bit of labor towards these if you plan on having one of these as your mid or end game craft, or sorry, not craft, life skill that you want to like max out to like famed or something like that. So you want to dedicate a little bit of labor to these if you so choose to pick one. But for early game, I would say pretty much none of these. And for, of course, miscellaneous, the number 1 early game life skill, absolutely larceny. You're going to be killing mobs, you're going to be grinding mobs, they're all going to drop coin purses, and coin purses is pretty much going to be your main source of money for the first 14 days of Archeage. Hands down, and not even close. So If I were to say the best early game proficiency or life skill, it would definitely be larceny, easily. Now for the mid game changes it up a little bit. So for harvesting, husbandry becomes a little bit better since trade packs are actually a thing in this version of Archeage. They're pretty good to do and run. You get the, I believe it was the stabilizers. I forgot that full name, but it was stabilizer. You get a charcoal stabilizer from doing cross-continental trade packs. So that's pretty much what that means is making a trade pack, let's say on the east side, and then you take it to the west side and turn in, or you can take it to Pirate Island and turn in for stabilizers as well. There's like a special merchant that usually spawns where you can turn in on Pirate Island. But those are very important as well, just like Dawn Lake Essence. They craft very important things that you need later in the game. So as a mid-game life skill, harvest or husbandry is very good. For crafting, pretty much all of these are good in mid-game. Leatherwork is pretty good. I think the best one in mid-game would be handicraft, since people will be buying accessories at this point in the game. Things like Ethereum accessories to get more stats, have the better stat points, like things like magic defense. Pretty much, well, sadly it only shows the earth earrings, but as you can see on me, I have a flame earring which increases evasion and a wave earring that increases or decreases received damage. So things like that, special effects. Of course, it gives you your main stat. You want to have as much of your main stat as possible because it's very important. But handicraft is a very good mid-game, a very, very good mid-game life skill. Printing is also one as well. You'll be making paper for people for to regrade scrolls. Also very good. And then eventually we come down to the miscellaneous and larceny. Of course, larceny is just the best life skill from beginning to end, because you'll always be killing mobs and opening coin purses. And not only the coin purses give you silver, they also give you the braziers and the Archeum trees that you can also sell to other players who are needing Archeum essence, or you can plant them yourself when Aurora finally opens in 14 days, or after the 14-day block. And for endgame, we come back to harvesting, and I forgot to mention this, but fishing is also really good in mid-game as well. But endgame, fishing it just blows all of these harvesting life skills out of the water in terms of making money, because they brought back sports fishing. And what sports fishing is you take your fishing boat out into the water and you chum the water, and then now that water is now available for any player to do sports fishing there, and you catch a fish, the marlins, and depending on the marlin size or something to that effect, I forgot what actually determines it. I think it's like weight and size or something like that. When you come back and turn it into the fishing hook, you get a certain amount of gold, and it's usually a good amount of gold. I think it's like average like 25 to 30 gold when you catch really big fish, and having a whole party of people with fishing boats, and you're just constantly spending your labor fishing and sports fishing and coming back to turn in, amazing profit. So harvesting is, or sorry, not harvesting, fishing is a very very good harvesting life skill from honestly the start of the game to end game. Now for crafting, pretty much all of these are very good for making money. Leatherworking, if you're end game, you're probably around the part of making ionad, or not just leatherworking, sorry, tailoring, leatherwork, carpentry, weaponry, metalwork, all of this, you're pretty much around the point in endgame where you're making ionads and selling it for just a really good profit when you get a good one. Really good to use, or to really good life skills at endgame. Very profitable. And of course, at endgame, larceny is still just a very good life skill in general. Now the specifics for each of the other life skills, they're very want to say the words like niche. So depending on the market, any one of these life skills can change and just be infinitely better. But pretty much that's like the, I guess you can call it kind of like a tier list for at each point of the game, what each life skill does and how good it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. There's a lot more intricacies to each life skill. Of course, depending on the marketplace, machining or something like that, like making a very like specific like glider or something like that that you can unbound and sell, could become very profitable. And depending on the materials used, it can generate like an insane profit or whatever. And that's just an example. That's not like actually gonna happen or something like that. I'm just saying in general that any of the life skills, depending on the market, can change. And depending on how the market is during the time of the game, any one of these life skills can pretty much take to the top. But after playing this game so many times and knowing usually what the player base requires at a certain point of the game, this list is pretty solid in which life skills will earn you some of the most money. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this helps you figure out which type of life skills you want to focus on and how you go about ranking them up. Make sure that you pick the correct life skills, because you're limited once again to how many you can have until you start getting specialty snowflakes. And in these parentheses, this is telling you how many increases you actually have. So at the beginning, you can only make 7 life skills from to novice, and then after that 6 to veteran, 5 to expert, etc., etc. And of course, this changes with the snowflakes. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a dislike, subscribe. Hope you guys have a great day. Take it easy. Peace out.